Bench Opinions. Three idiots with amateur analysis.
Welcome to another episode of Bench Opinions, everyone. Our WhatAWeek segment. It's Friday. You're going to hear things that happened in our lives, things that we reminisce about, and general opinion on what's good and what's not good out there. Middle of summer heat.
Not good. Global warming is a thing, people. It's not good.
I think we've got 35. My weather app says 37 on Wednesday. So, and that's the one. You always go with the one that's either the highest or the lowest. If there's someone's weather app that says it's going to be like minus 14, that's the one you go with. Now we're going with plus 37.
Completely fucking unnecessary. It's way too hot. And today I spent a lot of the whole part of my day this morning and today just in the apartment, which is actually quite nice if you're fortunate not to have an apartment that bakes in the sun and you keep the windows closed, and it's well insulated. Yeah. And then I decided to leave to go work out. Poor decision.
Yeah.
It is fucking hot. It's not even peaked yet.
No, it hasn't. Because I'm on my crutches, I fucking walk 200 meters and I am drenched.
Have you got baby powder out yet for those slippery hands? Every time you leave the house, you need the mic for that. Every time you leave the house, you just clap your hands together.
Like
Triple H.
Triple H. And I think LeBron James does it before a basketball game as well.
Exactly. I reckon that would be quite a fucking... Imagine you do that right before you get in the Uber.
Yeah.
And then you inhale it.
It reminds me a little bit of the Stellenbosch times, because in January, February in Stellenbosch, it also was, during the day it was always between 35 and 40. And then at night it would still be like 22, 23 degrees. And your apartment had stored so much heat that you had to take your sheet into the shower and wet your sheet, and then you had to have the fan blowing on a cold sheet. If you didn't have a fan, also you were fucked because there's so many mosquitoes there.
Yeah.
But now the mosquitoes are here as well.
No, bro. This is unbelievable. I don't know. It's like the longer I stay in Germany, the more I become like exactly what the mosquitoes want on their fucking plate. It's unbelievable. Like I'm starting to I've got welts. Like I'm starting to swell up. It's like I've got elephantitis in my right arm from one of the mosquito bites. Yeah. And also, like, no one has developed a good mosquito spray. A nice...
Really?
No, an enjoyable one. It's sticky and they need to...
Maybe that's where Axe needs to get into the market there.
Yeah.
You smell nice and you kill mosquitoes dead.
Dark Temptations mosquito spray.
Yeah, they just can't... I mean, in Germany, they like to call it, like, Africa and stuff like that. I don't know if that's politically correct.
No, probably not.
Mosquito spray called Africa.
No, can't do that. I don't mind the smell of peaceful sleep. Should quite enjoy it.
Yeah, that's all right. But
it's like getting high on a bit of turpentine.
Yeah, but you also like sitting at the petrol station and sniffing the fumes.
I don't fucking just sit there and sniff the fumes. I just don't mind the what's in the air,
Yeah.
Can I tell you, there's one group of people that the heat doesn't clearly seem to bother. And I was walking through Mitte, which is, for people that don't know, Berlin is a little bit of the sort of like...
Hoity-toity.
Hoity-toity, but also like... almost like a bit yuppie-ish, like people want to be seen kind of there as well, kind of like Kreuzberg, but people with a little bit, maybe not as edgy. I was going to use another word, but edgy is a good term. And so I walk, and I've discovered it's Fashion Week.
Okay.
And I walked up the street, and some fashion stores blocked that whole road there, Alte Schönhauser, and... everything that those people were wearing looked uncomfortable. Absolutely fucking everything. I didn't quite see someone dressed as a piano, so it wasn't quite the Met Gala, but it looked unbelievably warm, everything.
Yeah.
And unbelievably uncomfortable. And also the materials don't seem breathable.
Was there a lot of leather and latex?
Leather, latex, plastic.
Yeah.
Some lady, like when people start wearing clothes that are like, have like clear dimensions, like you can work out the surface area of them because they're so angular, then someone's a fashionista. When there's shapes.
I'm well aware that I'm not like a very fashionable individual. I'm down the middle. I'm very safe.
Yeah.
You say that, but you're wearing a new hat today.
Dominic inspires me with his headgear.
With his hat rotation.
I know I play it down the middle, very safe, very sort of like what a normal, sort of probably a little bit jockey 30-something-year-old white guy would wear. When I speak to some people at work who are like quite into their fashion, I just think you've got to be very happy with being uncomfortable when you're into your fashion, because it doesn't matter what the outside is like, because you've got to stick to your rules. There's rules in fashion, and the rules don't care about whether it's fucking snowing or it's 35 degrees. So people will be sitting at work with like long pants and like a jumper on. And I'm like, but it's quite warm outside. And then they're like, this is just what's currently in, so that's what I'm wearing.
Are there any fashion rules that you follow?
There's some color matchings that I would watch out with.
Yeah. So like brown and blue. I was told this in high school by one of the girls who was like really popular at school, and
we had popular girls at school.
Yeah. And
I missed that part.
And I think I walked. It was like a civvies day or something like that, and I had blue jeans and like a brown t-shirt. And she was like, "Dude, go back home." And I was like, "How?
Go back home."
14. It's like don't ever wear brown and blue.
The problem with it is those rules change, and like because it used to always be that you couldn't match black and dark blue, but now those rules have apparently changed. And then there's the fashion people who are like, no, you need to go against the rules and what's seen as allowed and not allowed. And then that's when you end up with the piano.
That's when people have just lost the concept of where they are.
I'm going to say something that I probably will never say again, and it's one of. I agree with Julius Malema on one thing. I read a book once about the ANC Youth League at the time when Julius Malema was still like at the head of the ANC Youth League, and they went to like a conference on communism in Venezuela, and there was and socialism, and there was a journalist from one of the mainstream media and newspapers in South Africa that went to interview him, and Julius Malema declined the interview because the leather on the shoes of the journalist and the belt of the journalist was black and brown and didn't match. And Julius says, "You think I'm going to interview someone that can't even match their leather to their shoes and their belt?" And I generally agree with that. I feel like if you're gonna have like there's certain color like browns and like earthy colors kind of go together, but you can't like wear, I don't know, like a brown pants and a red t-shirt, for example. It just ain't gonna cut it.
I want to deep dive a little bit on what a communism conference would look like. What do you think do you think it's like a mess hall where there's like the latest communist goods that you can get in a little goodie bag?
I could give you do you want my honest opinion on what I think it is? I think it's how do you get to power and then steal as much as possible? I think that's kind of what the communist conference is.
What are the free giveaways at a communist conference? You always have to leave it with a goodie bag from a conference.
The thing is, the one thing I can tell you about the communist regimes, I know whatever you get, you fucking be elated that you got it, because otherwise you will be.
Problem is
killed.
everyone got the same thing.
Yeah, it's like my dad made these. Oh, my dad made these too.
We were talking about this just before we got on air, working out in the heat.
Yeah.
I saw a dude, it feeds into another topic. When is it acceptable to be on the phone? This guy was jogging with his headphones in and was on a call. And he's one of those guys. I was standing at a red traffic light, and he's the one who, you know, when they get to a red traffic light and they can't stop, because if they stop, then they'll never be able to continue running again.
So they're like on exit zone 2.
They're like running on the spot. Then he was like running in a circle around me. I was like, Jesus, guy, just fucking relax. And he was on the phone, and he was out of breath. And like, I'm trying to think of the person on the other end of that call. The only people who do that are the ones who are in charge. You know, the bosses, because they're like, my time is so valuable. I'm going to have to talk to you while I jog because there's no other time in my day. But that surely can't be acceptable.
No, it's definitely the case. That guy's definitely talking to his PA. But that being said, I have now seen people who aren't that high up in the hierarchy also start to do things like that, because I think they like, like dress for the job you want. It's almost like act like the job you want. So they start
always
like,
be busy.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, my life's super busy. Oh, what did you do? No, this and that, and like admin. So
that's a little insider there for he'll know. Anyway, but I just think to myself, I'm like, it must just be unpleasant for everyone involved.
Yeah.
You must now. I can't talk and run. We tried it at the 10-kilometer run we did last year.
True.
We spoke for like 35 seconds.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no.
Oh, Maxie went on a 10-kilometer
chatting
date
once. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was terrible.
What do you? I mean, also that's my other theory with someone that maybe is calling while they're on the phone, is that they're like in the heavy like honeymoon phase of a relationship, and they just want to hear each other breathe.
Yeah, but not at 12 o'clock noon at 35-degree heat. What do you think is worse? Jogging while on the phone, or being on the toilet and on the phone?
No, you cannot. You cannot. I'm sorry.
Let's think about this.
No.
jogging.
Who feels
There's-
comfortable enough to talk to anyone while you're on the shitter?
No questions asked.
That is, if I hear an echo on the phone when I'm talking to someone, I'm like, listen, you're clearly busy.
Yeah.
Let me call back in a few minutes. And I would also never answer the phone if someone's calling me.
me
And I'm on the
either.
phone.
My hands are free. I've got all the time in the world.
No,
I've
me,
got
I-
nowhere to be. I'm sitting down.
No.
I can take notes, bro.
I do become highly efficient if my phone starts ringing. And I'm like, shit, this is important.
Exactly.
My God.
We've got to finish this up here.
Exactly.
I heard because obviously at the cubicles at work, I sometimes hear people in those cubicles pick up. And okay, so now we're going a little bit too deep maybe into this, but like you can control what you're doing on that toilet. You know, you might just be able to. You're not able to control what the people in the cubicles next to you are you
that's
doing.
true,
So the person on the phone is going to be like,
Okay, that's different. I would take a call at home on the loo. Yeah, and I can control my environment.
I still veto that. I'm like, no.
Dude,
also-
I speak to you a lot on the
I
toilet.
think
Me is different.
I think when you phone, he goes to the toilet
Yeah.
and he sits down and he's like, let me
He's like, ooh.
handle this. Yeah.
I'm Klaus doesn't drink coffee. It's just when the phone rings.
This is
he's
where
like,
I have
oh,
some
this
of my
gets me
best
going.
ideas. This is where I really
I
get
think-
creative.
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't do it. I can't get myself to.
No.
Um,
There needs to be boundaries, and it's weird because the person can't see you.
yeah.
But I feel like when I answer the phone, there's like this weird connection, like
Like I'm on Big Brother all of a
there's a
sudden.
person now suddenly in the room with me while I'm on the toilet.
You'll notice when I don't respond because I've hit mute. Once it goes bloop.
Okay. Talking
But
about
you guys are also guys who won't pee or have your girlfriend pee in front of you, right?
It doesn't bother me, but it bothers my girlfriend. So, like, I'm not fussed. But
What about number 2?
no, that's come now.
No, okay.
Come now.
Okay.
No, I'm talking about like
No,
No, Klaus,
come now.
things can
Klaus,
happen.
No.
I'm not saying like, oh, she's on the loo, let me go visit. I'm talking about like you just happen to be there. It's like, oh, sorry.
You just happen to be there. No, let's move on.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah. It actually
I'm
leads me.
just joking around.
It leads me to. I didn't tell you guys when I went to go to that apartment viewing in Friedrichshain.
Yeah.
I took the train back and I hobbled my way to the Ringbahn, got on the train, and I looked and there was so many open seats, and I was like, oh my god, amazing! And the train was quite full. I was like,
Yeah.
and I walk in and I take 2 steps in, and I look to the right. It's one of those like 2 facing each other,
Right.
and there is a massive log lying on the.
Oh, word.
But like, I'm not lying if I say it's like this big. It was like
This is why you don't wear your train pants in bed.
the real problem was
Also an insider.
That's true.
the real problem was by the time I'd seen it and could now correct, I turned around and then the doors were shutting and the train was moving. And I can't
You can't stabilize.
move.
There's no
when-
ABS on
I
those.
can't move when the train's moving. So I had to sit down like
Opposite the poo.
a meter away from this thing. And people were like looking at me through the train like, is this guy not bothered by the situation, but like the massive log that's lying next to him? I think some of them maybe also thought I did it.
You should have said it's my Achilles. It's my Achilles. It's not that kind of disability. No, I
Not incontinent.
I think people's like feces, and in a city like Berlin, with the amount of drug usage there is here, I think there's a lot of feces in the city.
Yeah. But I mean, that was just a shocking thing to see. And I actually had to get off in the next stop because it was like,
Pungent.
yeah, it was giving me a lot of like,
Imagine that
Dry
now.
heaving.
Imagine that now on Wednesday at 35 degrees.
Oy.
My thing is, what do we like? Do you think anyone calls it in?
there was, I got off at the next stop and 2, what do you call them? Because they're not ticket checkers. They're almost like DB security.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Mall cops.
Yeah. So I flagged it with them and they looked like they wanted nothing to do with that issue. I don't know who
Tell
does.
somebody else. It's not
Yeah.
part of our jurisdiction.
Yeah. I mean, listen. We
See
talk
it, say it, sorted. That's what we learned in
yeah.
London.
That's the one that's in London. And I mean, here in Germany, there's also but I think that's exclusively with like damage, like graffiti or.
Yeah, theft and.
But you can get a lot of money with that, a reward.
Yeah, with the graffiti, I think you can get like 2K.
Yeah, maybe we become professional snitchers.
Or maybe we instigate our own snitchage.
Like we have someone
Like
like,
one
Okay,
of us
fine, Klaus.
goes,
You go graffiti.
but I think
I'll go report you, and then we share the bounty.
But I think so. Yeah, I think they have to get
then
caught.
we also shared jail time.
I think.
No,
I don't
I'm
think
out.
you go to prison for.
I think eventually you do. I don't think you can
Eventually.
willy-nilly.
Not first time.
I think there's maybe not a first time offense. Well, there's probably a penalty, like some sort of a fine. And
So
if you
I
can't
scratch
pay
a
that,
window on a train. I'm in there with like a fucking murderer who's murdered 3 people.
no, you're going to the jail cell with other people who scratch windows.
Okay.
No, but there is obviously if you can't pay a parking ticket over many years, then you also get like I've gotten time threatened in one of my letters.
They threatened you with jail time.
Yeah, it's like then you've got to go to the slummer for a day or something stupid.
Oh.
Yeah.
I sometimes wonder if it would be cool to go to prison for like a
Hell
day.
no.
Not a chance.
What are you
bro.
talking about?
Not. So what's the difference between prison and jail? Jail's the one where you stay overnight. Prison's the one where
I don't
where
wanna
you
be-
get booked in, right?
Either. I don't. The
Remember-
jail is like in a police.
Listen, listen. I think it could be fun in like a small little town somewhere where you're in with the local fucking idiot. That's fine. If I have to be anywhere near a jail in this city, bro, I will be mincemeat, bro. Those folks will fucking.
But
I think the dangers are different from South African prison, but they are there.
what if you get into prison and then you create a football team with the 11 guys are there and you play against the guards?
The longest yard.
Yes,
No, bro.
green machine. Mean machine. The thing is,
Also, you're there for 12 hours, and then suddenly you're part of the course family.
Klaus, when you get in there, I will tattoo the escape plan onto my body and I'll come and live with you for the one day.
Prison break.
Yeah.
my problem is,
You don't know the difference between jail and prison. It might be jail.
By the time I get in there, you might have already been gone.
he's like, oh shit, this is a prison in Guatemala. I got it wrong. But my concern is, this is genuine actually, and I'm not even being like funny. My concern is like, you know me, I've got that Schweinhund, that chutzpah in me, and if it's about surviving, bro, I will do whatever it takes. I'm telling you, within like 3 days, I've joined a gang. I've got tattoos under my eyes. No, not that kind of. No. I would go for the aggressive kind of survive.
You pick the first day. You pick the biggest guy.
Yeah, no, but first I joined the gang because then I've got people to back me up.
Which gang do you join?
I don't know, whichever one's off. I don't have hair, so I'm just saying, like that's
yeah,
a bit easier, you know.
Your stereotype. You're going to one gang, and that's unfortunately the right-leaning one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you see while we're talking about the right wings? So we're part of a golf club, and we got invited to in the newsletter to White Night.
White summer night, isn't it?
No, it just says White
I
Night.
was just say white night. Oh,
Oh my god, White Night.
Oh my god.
It's their white summer party.
We have always threatened to go there. I
Yeah.
call it threatened because
I think the reason it becomes even more like of a cringeworthy thing is that there isn't. I think there's very few people of color in that golf club. I think Klaus and I were trying to think of it today, and I think Yassine,
the golf coach,
the golf coach from Morocco,
yeah.
is
The only man of any kind of
and
color.
then Deng, the female champion, because she's Asian.
That's true.
But that's it.
Haven't seen her in a while though.
And then Fiona sent me that reel. You know, when in Bad Boys 2 in the beginning when they rock up to that Ku Klux Klan party.
Oh yeah.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
We should go one day. You know.
Yeah, but they've got it. That I've always said we should get a little bus. There's that little B&B there right by the golf course, rented out, and just go. I think they would have no idea what to do with us. Those people.
Yeah.
I know they do like little games like it's
Chipping
not for
and-
you, but chipping into a little
Like burning
pond
a cross and
start a bonfire
Chanting.
or sing in a circle,
Yeah.
wear funny costumes.
yeah. No, listen. Maybe next year.
Let's give it a pass for this year.
We got a little bit drunk at your house on Saturday, and
Yeah.
that was the first time since
Since your accident.
yeah. I must say I don't care for it the next morning.
Because I felt terrible.
You guys went to go play golf, eh?
Yeah. I didn't actually feel too bad. It was very suspicious, and I thought it was going to hit me at some point on the golf course, and it didn't. So that's a surprise.
Yes. You've got a you've
That hasn't been my track record of late. Of late, it's
Really?
been like 3 days hangovers, and I wanted to give up. But now, but now, yeah, this was quite. Maybe I have to play golf every time after I drink.
Tell your
No.
girlfriend that.
it doesn't help.
Doesn't help. No.
No. Anything else you guys want to cover?
No, looking forward to a little trip away this week to go watch our friend Jacques play
All right,
some
you're going
golf.
to Munich, yeah.
Yeah, at the BMW Championship. So that's exciting.
Maybe on that note, a little shout out to the South African Aldrich Potgieter, 20-year-old, who just won his first PGA Tour event.
Yeah, I watched until the first playoff hole. And then I was like, this might go on for a while. And I'm glad I went to bed because it went to the fifth playoff hole.
Oh, wow.
I think after watching Tommy Fleetwood, I'm off golf for a while until the Open soon.
That's true. Yeah.
I've got a question for you, Dom. And I asked Maxi this already, and he is just as perplexed and confused as I am. We ordered burgers the other day, and on Uber Eats, but I think it's the same on Volt, there's a service charge, a delivery fee, and then you can still pay a tip. What's the difference between the three of them?
I saw a massive rant the other day on X about this. Someone saying it's actually ludicrous that what's happened to like the whole service and food industry worldwide.
Yeah.
Where you'll pay $25. She was talking about a place in New York, $25.
Yeah.
To order online to pick up. You pick up, you go there, they turn the machine to you, and the first thing the machine says is like 25 or 30% tip. Obviously, it's America.
Yeah.
And for what? So it's a bloody good question. My assumption is the service fee and the delivery fee. The service fee will go to the restaurant, and the delivery.
Really? You don't think that'll go to the online platform where you do the food order?
Well, no, because they already take 30% commission. So Volt,
I think they'll take that as well.
Volt,
why is the restaurant getting a service fee if you're paying for the food?
Huh? I don't know. But it's just a convenient way to exploit people like you ordering burgers at home.
I need to really stop.
It's also
you're ridiculous because you try and buy like one burger and suddenly you're paying like
nowadays you can
$30.
get the premium subscriptions like with Uber and with Volt. You can get the subscription and then you don't have to pay those fees. But then you're paying like 25 euros a month.
And then you're almost like
then you must eat, bro.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
One more thing I wanted to cover just because it came to my mind now. I watched. Have you seen Debt Q on Netflix?
We're on the last couple of episodes.
Okay, so I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but that was the first time in a long time, and it's not even a scary show, but it's like a murder mystery kind of vibe.
Bit of edge of the seat.
So there's a few scenes that sometimes can fucking put a little bit of fright in you. I am a chicken shit when it comes to that kind of stuff. I watched it and I finished the series, and it was like 2 a.m. by the time I'd done, because I did it in one day. And by the time I finished, because there's a few scenes of guys, I hate it when they fucking pan, like you can see the actor and he can't see behind him, and then a dude appears in like the doorway, or guys are like down and then they go up and there's a mirror and the guys are standing behind them. It's my worst. Then the show finished and obviously I was home alone and I had to turn all the lights on. I turned this light on, I had the hallway light on, kitchen light, anyway, because I was like, you know, it's like when you used to be small and you used to have to run to your bedroom. Because you think someone would murder you.
That's true.
I remember we had a double-story house, and like upstairs was always all the bedrooms are upstairs.
Yeah.
And then your parents would go like, "Okay, go to bed now." And you're like, "Wow." Nobody's been upstairs in a while. I don't know if anybody's checked up there. And now you got to go and your sister's watching you. So now you got to put on a brave face and like go and turn on all the lights. And you're like, yeah, there's nothing wrong here. Just feel really confident about this one. I'm coming upstairs. Just to like let anybody who needs to escape. Dude,
so you thought the prisoner
freak me out.
Yeah. Oh. I'm not one for scary movies, and that's not even a scary series, but it's just not my vibe, you know. I like the.
I was about to say I must still be getting to the part that becomes scary.
No, you probably crossed them already, and you were probably like, "This is nothing."
Yeah,
but this is coming from a man who watches true crime documentaries
for
all
like
the time.
breakfast.
True.
I think you're desensitized.
But you're not much of a horror movie watcher either, are you?
I must say I find horror movies funny actually. Because it's just
there's something wrong with you.
No, I just think
you've
it's
got like that. Do you like have like a psychotic laugh?
No, there's like look. It depends what kind of horrors we're talking about. I remember watching I think it was Silent Hill, and there's this one scene in Silent Hill where this like creature comes out, and he used to be the janitor of the school or whatever, and he like comes out and he's like kind of looks like a spider. He's all fucked up and mangled, and he comes out and he's like. And then you like the camera pans over and he's got a name tag. It says like John or something. And I thought that was fucking hilarious. I was like, you've made this whole creature. This guy's the janitor's now a fucking monster and you've given him a name tag. And then I just get distracted by things like that.
Okay, maybe that's what I should focus on.
What's that movie series, that horror movie series where they it's like all out of POV cams,
I think I know what you're talking about, but
and then it's like for like the first 40 minutes of the movie nothing happens, but you expect something to happen all the time, and then eventually like the bed starts like moving, like the duvet or something like starts moving a little bit, and then there's nothing for like another 10 minutes, and then like by the end of it, oaks are getting thrown around the room by some invisible force.
you see, those kind of things don't scare me as much.
Okay,
For me, it's
we'll put it on.
It's no, but it's like those surprise moments of people appearing in like.
Yeah.
No, but that
short-
happens too.
Oh no, that's my worst. I'm a very jumpy individual. When people pop a balloon at work, I hit the deck. I'm under the desk. Yeah,
Just stop, drop, and
and
roll.
then they're like, "What's wrong with you?" And then I have to be like, "Well, I can't tell them I'm just a wuss." I'm like, "I'm from South Africa, man. You just react differently when you hear a balloon pop."
It's like my aunt, my aunt and they moved to Australia on this topic. My aunt and they moved to Australia when I was a kid, and then the way that she would communicate with the whole family was via email.
Was it around 1994 that they
a
moved?
little bit later? Little bit later.
They couldn't get out in the first
They
wave.
believed the impending death and destruction for a little bit longer than most, and then they were like, "We're getting out of here." And then she used to send like these like almost like newsletter type of emails to everyone, back home. And then there's one email where she's like, "Yeah, it's quite tough here, we're trying to assimilate and everything, but I suppose it's better than dodging bullets back in South Africa." And I sat there and I remember my mom reading this to me and I was like, I haven't dodged a bullet yet.
Does she think you're like the Matrix?
Yeah.
That's how. Oh, I can see that the type of lady, type
That was
of person who would send that.
That
kind of
was the
newsletter.
last newsletter that was read and I think was received. I think there was a massive scandal in the family.
People unsubscribed from the newsletter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right, I think that's it for today.
Lovely.
Thanks for listening this week. Have a listen into our rugby episode that we released on
Soft
Tuesday.
launch.
That we released on Tuesday, and that's it. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Arrivederci.
Cheers, bye.